Bailey Sarian just put out an amazing video with raw energy, simply asking the question that's on everyone's mind.
What are we going to do?
I believe that I have that answer. All right, loves, we are taking a break from our regular programming to bring you a very important message. If you have been following the recent Epstein file release, you are probably asking yourself the same thing. What do we do now? As you may or may not know, I am Ashley Cullen. I'm an internationally awarded empowerment speaker, anti-bullying advocate, passionate about helping people reach their full potential inside and out. And let me tell you, this is a challenge, but it's no match for me. I have what I believe is a really good way forward, and it's grounded in science. We are all very unique individuals. We have different passions and experiences in life. We have different goals, different challenges. We are at different points of healings. We have a lot going on, and we can easily go about our regular programming because as normal human beings, we project out into the world that everything is normal, everything is as it should be, and tend to focus on those niche things that we care about, whether we are hyper focused on one of these issues like race or politics or gender or identity or whatever it is. Let me tell you, friends, we are not at a time to be focusing on all these upper level things. This is where I tend to focus on helping us reach our full potential inside and out. But right now, we as a human race are at a very important point to need to be focusing on these foundational levels. Regardless of where you stand, what your interests are, it is very important. It is very important, and we just need to put it on pause for now. With that being said, the recent file release is revealing quite a lot. So for those who haven't been following, you have your kids. These are the light of the future. Then we have you. This is where you are protecting the people that you care about. Then in control of you is our government. The government should be protecting us and acting in our behalf as we are paying their salaries. They should be protecting us. And what we are seeing is that they are using our taxpayer dollars to instead protect these elite pedos that are harming children. We are seeing extensive documentation of elites that have control over our health, a group of people that is seemingly thinking they are above the law. Being sure to do something about it as these files are being released is how we create change. In this time, if we stay silent, if we stay focused on distractions, we are saying this is acceptable and you can continue doing this and we'll just look the other way. We won't bring the system to a crashing halt. That's not okay. I am not willing or interested in seeing us go down that path. So the first thing that I want to point out is that yes, power comes from money and it comes from having status. So yes, that is what they have. And you know what we have? We're not helpless. We have numbers and knowledge. There's power in numbers and there's power in knowledge, and we have them both.
But there was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. One ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss, they're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one? Are you kidding? How about this?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
Now, with us having the numbers, what you're seeing is a lot of division. The phrase, united we stand, divided we fall, isn't just catchy. There's actually a reason for it and truth behind it. And what we tend to see is
we hate each other. We're angry. We're really angry. I'm talking about just us normal, everyday people. We're angry. We're really hurt. And we're just like also fighting one another. And listen, this current system in place like wants us to do just that. They want us to do this. They're winning. Do you understand? They're winning. They want us to do that. So like right now, I'm talking to you, the person. Like listen, I'm talking to you, the human, the person, right now, okay? They, whoever they is, they're not us and we are not them. We, the people in America, normal, everyday people, I'm talking to you right now. Whatever agenda you have in your mind, like put it aside.
right now you see people fighting about the upper level things. You see people staying distracted, focusing on all of these things and not paying attention to the crumbling foundation that we are experiencing. One thing to understand is we live in a very polarizing society. You tend to see, oh, left versus right, or this race versus this race, or this gender identity versus this one, or, you know, this religion versus this one. And we tend to isolate ourselves within just one of those and saying, oh, these people are like me and these people aren't. And that is not necessarily the way to look at it, because what happens is there's good people on both sides of the aisle. There's good people that have good intentions, good hearts, good merits, integrity, that have the same race as you, or, you know, have a different religion as you, or, you know, whatever it is. There are people that have good and there are people that have bad intentions. So when you consider this, we shouldn't be just blindly listening to what people are saying. There are, considering it in terms of religion, there are people that can pose to be in your faith and leech on that to be able to manipulate you to get other things, and they're not actually having your best interest in mind. It's important to think for yourself instead of blindly following one group that we have been conditioned to. Breaking out of that conditioning and focusing on the energy below the surface, building a bond with people who are different from you, and giving grace, acceptance, compassion. Check out content on my Vogue method to learn how to achieve this genuinely in a deep-rooted way that helps heal your relationship with self and others. When we do this, we stop fighting ourselves and dividing our numbers and breaking down, being distracted until it's too late. We are instead working together to accept people as they are and focus on what really matters. That's the fight of good versus evil. I know this may sound crazy to people who are not paying attention, but this is really important, and there are plenty of us that are waking up to this. So taking intentional action is important. I'm HeartMath certified in building personal resilience. What the HeartMath Institute does is they take measurements of our heart in relation to our mood, our energy, our interactions with others, and measures it and understands the relationship between us as human beings and as well as the earth and our physical environment around us. Long story short, definitely look into the HeartMath Institute, because there's a lot of answers to this solution buried below the surface. So having an understanding for that is how we're going to get from one point to another. That being said, what we have learned is that we are all connected to a greater energy field. So our heart can be detected about 3 feet outside of our body, even though it goes much further than that. Our brain can be detected about 1 inch. With that, our heart is our primary pulse. Because we have a pulse, we have a current running through us, and because we have a current running through us, we have a magnetic field. And this field reaches outside of our body. This field can be measured at any given time, so that's how we know that it's real. So many studies have been done to understand how this energetic field works, and we are all connected. So when we as individuals focus on raising the vibration, it shifts the energy of the field. And what we have seen from those investigating the Charlie Kirk assassination, doing an actual deep dive instead of the government cover up that's happening, is that when you have a decentralized intelligence agency, when you have people all around the world tapping into your unique strengths, your gifts, when we believe in ourselves, when we know what we're capable of, and we say, you know what, light defeats dark. And when we are intentional in focusing on shining a light and having that goodness, what we do is we intentionally raise the energetic field that we're connected to a higher, stronger vibration. You can hear it from Dr. McCrady's mouth himself.
So the study you're talking about was to groups of 20 people in 5 countries, right? They actually are also countries where we happen to have the part of our global work where we have magnetometers that are measuring the Earth's rhythms and frequencies. So the study looked at, well, we measured their little devices that kind of like, I have one here, look like this, that have electrodes that you put on across the chest. They're very lightweight and comfortable. So we were able to measure what's called their heart rate variability. This is the beat-to-beat change in each pair of heartbeats for 24 hours a day, every day for 15 days, right? So a lot of data, over 100 people, as you mentioned, in these groups. Now, I won't go into a lot of one of the surprises came out of the study. We were really looking at how our nervous system responds to the changes in the Earth's frequencies, the magnetic fields of the Earth that we're measuring, and how we're interconnected with that. But in the middle of this 15-day period, we organized a time that all the participants, these 100 and some participants all around the world, did what's called a heart lock-in, which is a kind of a heart-focused meditation for 15 minutes together at the same time. I mean, together time-wise, they're all over the world. And what we were then, because they're all being recorded across this 15-day period, we were able to, at the group level, say, okay, well, how in sync are the members of each of the 5 groups in sync with the rhythms of the Earth? Okay, that was one of our main questions. But so when they did this 15-minute heart-focused meditation on the heart lock-in, we found that, well, they obviously went into a much higher state of heart coherence. That was expected. We knew that would happen. But we also found that the heart rhythm synchronization amongst this is true of all the groups, of other group members within those groups, they became more in sync with each other, right? So literally more in sync, right? But the surprise came, it was surprising to me that just being in that coherent heart state for 15 minutes increased the synchronization. This was true for all of the groups for the next 24 hours. So they were more aligned with, more in sync with the rhythms of the Earth. For the following, it's a carryover effect. We getting ourselves really in that state of coherence and being more in sync with ourselves, created more synchronization with others, but also with the Earth itself. And I think most people can probably intuitively understand why it's good to be in sync with the fields we live in, right? I mean, there's more and more research showing why, but we don't need to get into all that now. Just know it's a good thing to be in sync with others and with the Earth, right?
The last thing that I'm going to mention is in our founding documents, our Declaration of Independence, it states very clearly, the second paragraph, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. So this year, I ask you to be more intentional with your independence. I ask you to be more intentional with your energy, to believe in yourself, to know that we are capable of the most amazing things. And when we work together, we can topple even the biggest dragons.
We're paying taxes. We're doing everything right. Us, the people. We're doing everything right. We're playing their rules. And they're using it against us. It's like, but we're at this point where we have to create a new system. Like, we seriously have to come together right now. We need to put all of our differences aside for a minute. Right now, just put it on hold. Put it on hold. Because right now, we all need to come together as one, because we are much more powerful than them. The 1%, these billionaires and all that.